It's liberating to admit that you're wrong. I mean, it's also annoying, and it makes you look like a schmuck, and it means the internet will deride you merely for acting on new information. That information being, this game is really good. Basically, you get disowned from life for changing your mind. That's what I mean there. Never change your mind, kids. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds made me change my mind, annoyingly. See, I'd seen this game erupt out of nowhere. I know it wasn't nowhere, people have been following its progress for a while now through the Daisy and Armour and H1Z1 projects and all that jazz, but I mean from a not hardcore fan perspective. Out of nowhere, blammo, like a bullet to the back of the head, fired by someone you could never have seen in a million years. That's some foreshadowing, kids. I'd seen I'd seen PUBG erupt out of nowhere, and I'd reacted with my, traditional cynicism, world weariness, and, let's be honest, a bit of good old-fashioned snark. It's not big, cool, or clever to be snarky, internet, but sometimes I can't help but let this finely honed facade slip just a little. In short, what I said was that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds was a flash-in-the-pan success that would be quickly forgotten, and that it looks like dull, uninspired trash. Not my exact words, but that was the general gist of it. I've seen so many bland military shooters in my time, and I haven't been paying attention to the background of this one and the subgenre it inhabits, that it just instantly bored me. Great, more grey-brown shooty bangs with real-world guns and real-life opponents. Jaded? Slightly, but there's more than enough of that stuff out there to confirm this reaction wasn't exactly an unfair one. No, it was just wrong. See, I kept seeing PUBG pop up around, and I kept seeing friends, people whose opinions I actually respect, talking about playing the game. A lot. I hadn't bought in yet, but it was there in the back of my head, chipping away at my thoughts every single day. And every day there was more. News, GIFs, Reddit posts, God, Reddit is shit, stories, videos, whatever you could think of. So much so that when Lazy Game Reviews posted his story of getting into PUBG, I actually watched the damn thing. Half an hour later, I bought the game. Phase 1, the intriguinating, had commenced. LGR's look at PUBG both had me acronym to death and utterly enamoured with the glee on show throughout the single match, the one and only game I had ever seen being played on this title. If watching one round of a guy not playing very well on his own for half a sodding hour was enough to pique my interest, I knew there had to be something more to it. So I bought it, and I played it, and I very quickly fell in love with it. Sure, I've only pumped in 4 or 5 hours at the time of doing this video, but for me to move away from stalwarts like Football Manager and Metal Gear Solid 5, if only for a minute, shows that this is some powerful shit. Some powerful shit I will attempt to convey right here in Phase 2, the sort of reviewinating. Now, I don't give a shit about Ark, about survival games, about straight up deathmatch. I didn't play Titanfall 2 at all online. I couldn't care less about Daisy or Armour. I've never bothered more than a passing glance at Dota or League of Legends. If it's popular and online focused, I've probably straight up ignored it. Admittedly, this means I still haven't played Rocket League, even though I got it when it was free on PlayStation Plus about 30 billion years ago, but hey. Safe to say I entered PUBG with my head full of dreams that I would see the appeal but not be dragged in. I'd listen to the music but I wouldn't hear, yes, it's referencing White Men Can't Jump, come at me bro. I would enjoy for a brief amount of time and move on. I mean, I've already told you how this ended up going, so it won't surprise you to hear I liked it more than expected. There's a real purity of spirit to Battlegrounds, a straightforwardness that makes it instantly fun. Up to 100 players are airdropped onto an island and you run around procuring weapons, armour and items while trying not to die. A circle of death closes the active area periodically, meaning eventually everyone is forced into a very small area to compete and the final person alive wins. Simple as. But it's not a deathmatch, it's not Twitch-based, nor is it something that needs the epic lead skills with a Z that I've heard so much about. Battlegrounds is actually more of a hide-and-seek simulator, or when I'm playing it, I hide and hide a bit more because I think I just heard a truck nearby. I'm up. The map is so big that you can easily go 10 minutes without seeing another person, and it's so punishing that as soon as they do see you, you're shot dead, but there you go. But put PUBG into its duo or team modes where you can go in with up to 3 others and things change markedly. It's still about being the last one, well, last team standing, but with the numbers game in play, you're far more likely to meet up with other teams and, well, probably get shot and die quickly if you're anything like me. But this brings with it the Emergent Action I loved so much from, say, the Battlefield series, where everyone jumping into a jeep together and going on a road trip was the main draw. It's funny, like when you flip the car you're in and your teammate legs it off down the road to grab another car which has been left as bait. As I watched the ambush motorbike fly out and run him over, I couldn't help but be impressed. And laugh. Then I got shot. Battlegrounds is already creating memories I know I'll keep for a long time, like when I actually won a round, which I never expected to do. My heart was beating so hard at the end of that game, it was absolutely ridiculous. I managed to outsmart someone purely by being a sneaky bastard, and that makes me feel incredibly good, and that is something a game hasn't managed to do with me in a long time, so kudos there. For all my cynicism, I do often feel like I've seen everything games have to offer, because so many games themselves are pushed out with a cynical attitude. PUBG has showed me that, while it may look like Me Too dross on the outside, you barely even have to scratch the surface before you're finding something that has you and 3 mates hooting with delight after you've been horribly killed, quickly, for the 4th time in a row. Again, I can't think of another game that does that for me. When you come to the inevitable Phase 3, problems, you might start to get mad at me. But Battlegrounds does have issues, and some of them, personal as they are things that I highlighted in my initial barrage. Namely, it looks really bloody bland. I don't care if it isn't much of a looker, which it isn't, but stylistically you're looking at beige. Not literally beige, just the feeling of beige. Bland, formulaic, vanilla. Wait, vanilla's delicious. Empty ice cream flavour. Is that a thing? Well, it's that regardless. PUBG is a bland-looking game in a setting done to death in games, the realistic-ish military shooter. As much as I love playing it, that absolutely turns me off and makes me want to disappear into more wondrous, exciting and unique worlds. But then the tension hits me again and I forget all about it because Battlegrounds is ace. And with that we are met with Phase 4, the hasty outro. I'm not often wrong about games, and in fairness I'm not entirely wrong in my immediate knee-jerk summation of Battlegrounds, but, well, it doesn't hurt to admit some fault in our thinking, and I am, right now, at this very second as I say this, madly in love with this game. Bye-bye!